Hey, what's going on, folks? Let's take a look at the goat. That's right, I said it. Edna St. Vincent Millay, Sonnet Goat. Greatest of all time at the Sonnet. You heard it here first because it's true. Bring it. Come on. Who does it better? You tell me who does it better. We'll get into it. I'm ready to throw down on this. This is goat. She's the goat. That's it. She's the goat. Let's talk about why. Okay, here we go. Time does not bring relief. You all have lied. Time does not bring relief. You all have lied. Who told me time would ease me of my pain? I miss him in the weeping of the rain. I want him at the shrinking of the tide. The old snows melt from every mountainside, and last year's leaves are smoke in every lane. But last year's bitter loving must remain heaped on my heart, and my old thoughts abide. There are 100 places where I fear to go, so with his memory they brim. And entering with relief some quiet place where never fell his foot or shone his face, I say, there is no memory of him here. And so stand stricken, so remembering him. Why is this goat material, guys? Why is it goat? Okay, let's figure this one out here. Okay, here we got the octave. Okay, check out how neat, how tidy, how exact this octave describes, stays with the feeling, locates us, brings the reader into intimate, direct confrontation with the overwhelming emotions of the speaker. It starts out with this bold proposal. You know I like a bold proposal. The goat here gives us the bold proposal. Time does not bring relief, which is entered the English language now. So you might hear someone say that time when they're talking about a departed loved one. Time does not bring relief. You all have lied. Who told me time would ease me of my pain? Bold proposal on those first two lines. So how do we end the first four lines? That first half of the octave. Those first four are the quatrain. I miss him in the weeping of the rain. Ooh. Devastating there. So you see this pathetic fallacy there where her weeping becomes the rain. Now that's been done a lot before, but it's done, just slides right in there, right? It's not forced. It's easy for us to accept as a reader that her weeping is like the rain. I want him, and then that just heightens so much the intensity of just this to start the to start a line with "I want him" at the shrinking, but then the shrinking goes against that. So the wanting, and then the shrinking, elevation versus the reality, which is this diminishment. I want him at the shrinking of the tide. It's just so poignant, so exquisite. That's just the first four frickin' lines, people, from the goat. Just the goat gives us, basically she has us murdered after the first four. The old snows melt. Now look at how big a change she gives us. She can go anywhere, transport us any place she wants, all over the universe with her power. The old snows melt. Again, that diminishment now becomes massive, becomes global, becomes this just like her heart appears to be melting from every mountainside. See that how emphatic the every is. It's not just one or two, it's everywhere. So it's an enlargement in the second four lines of the octave. And last year's leaves are smoke in every lane. My gosh, where does she come up with these images? And you can smell that too, can't you? Can't you smell that though? And then the bitter, and she repeats, so we get this refrain effect. But last year's bitter loving must remain. The loving then has that alliteration with leaves, bitter loving. Last year's leaves, just unbelievable, heaped on my heart, and the heaping then reminds us a little bit about those leaves as well. Now, of course, we get the pivot, ladies and gentlemen, the pivot to the eternal, and nobody does it like the goat. Nobody. There are 100 places where I fear. Not just one or two. There's 100. It gives us the specifics here where I fear to go. So with his memory they brim. Okay, great. So that sucks, right? That's not a good thing. And why is this a pivot here? Why is this a pivot? Because of the fear. That's why it's a pivot to the eternal. The fear of mortality, the fear of death, this confrontation with, it's all going to be over. This intense now, the poem is intensified. The morbidity becomes palpable, real. With his memory, they brim, and the overflowing continues, and this poem continues to expand, build. And entering, so there's this boldness of endeavor. Nevertheless, all her grief, all her despair, the speaker is still endeavoring, still seeking, still probing, still entering. There's a relentlessness to this voice. Strength. That's why she's the goat. Entering with relief some quiet place where never fell his foot or shone his face. See those footfalls. We don't see him, but we feel him. We can hear those footfalls happening, and it's ghastly. It's gives you shivers. I say there's no memory of him here. So stand stricken, so remembering him. Now look at the goat. See what the goat does here. And so, that's 1 beat, stand strick, 2 beats, and so, 3 beats, remem, 4 beats, bring him. Extra syllable. Extra syllable, folks. So the goat gives us 1 extra syllable, either a triple, or you could, if this were ye olde, it wouldn't look like this. It'd be like remembering, something like that. It'd be like one of these jobbies in like ye olde, but it's not. We get the extra syllable. Brain fart there. It's the contraction, right? She doesn't give us that contraction. She doesn't resort to that. She gives us that extra syllable. Why does she give us that extra syllable? Because we remain and linger a little bit longer. Totally acceptable, totally completely conformant with the sonnet to have that extra syllable there, especially since she's so well established. The iambic line, and it could be a contraction. Our ear could just insert that contraction for us. No problem. Or it could be a triple foot. No problem. Totally acceptable. I'm saying she's the goat because she puts it right there at the end in remembering. The remembering, then that remembering echoes. It echoes after you're done reading it. This is why she's the goat.